you did. I'm going to say it. You did put yourself in hot pepper soup. Commenting on, I mean, it's great to have a preference. I guess it was your delivery, and I think that everyone is allowed to have an opinion. You're all entitled to have your preferences, and it's actually quite nice to know that there are guys out there who appreciate different styles, and there's not this one look, as Instagram would have us believe. There is a handful of looks that define beauty, even in the black community, which is BS. We know that. When it comes to hair, it is very political for a number of reasons. If we think about hair in its purest form and hair pre-slavery, it was a very spiritual thing. It was that, tribes in Africa, for example, used hair to identify where people came from. There were different phases and stages in life and ceremonies around hair. The practice, coming of age, for example, a child would wear different hairstyles. Hair was a way to communicate with God in certain cultures, not all, but in certain cultures. Just lots of traditional practices, matriarchal practices, that kind of thing. So hair is and has always been a very sensitive subject. Yeah.
But you see, that's the reason, what you just said, you touched on a few of the reasons why, I'm not going to lie, it does upset me when I see, I tell them, look, see, my thing is, it's an influential thing. That's my thing. And the reason why I say so is because if there were more women, black women on the news who were news reporters with natural hair, there were more black women who were in movies with natural hair, there were more black women who were entertainers with natural hair, like musicians, whatever, you would find that would become a trend. But when you be real, you turn on the TV, it's weaves or it's permed hair that looks like it's a European texture. Do you get where I'm coming from?
So hold on. I need to understand what you're trying to say here. So you're saying that because we don't have enough visual images of natural hair or on the TV, when people in places of power or those who influence others on social media, for example, are constantly wearing weaves, it doesn't help educate the next generation. Is that what you're saying? Or
it has a part to play. I'm not saying it's the main reason, but it definitely has a part to play.
Like they can also wear their natural hair.
Yeah, because let's be honest. Listen,
you've got weave on, so I must have weave too.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Look, I'll be real with you. I remember the time when every young black man was wearing True Religions. You know why? Because every rapper was wearing True Religions. I remember the time when every young man had cornrows. You know why? Because every R&B singer and every rapper at the time had cornrows. You know what I'm trying to say? Let's be real. Fashion does influence people. We're highly influenced people. And we're highly influential as well. We can do something that others would do, but also we could take on other things as well. Now, one of the things that I see influencing black women a lot is definitely the weaves.
I don't know. I think women are way more educated than that nowadays. I think they've got a lot of access to information on the internet, and let's not get it twisted. There are a lot of women who are wearing weaves who are natural.
And your real hair grow. Because at the end of the day, it's always about your real hair, too. You know what I'm saying? Because, guys, you know what's so crazy? Your weave could be also popping, but a nigga always want to, eventually a nigga always want to come to you like, I want to see how your real hair look like. Yeah, that happens all the time.
Really?
I'm not saying women are not educated. See, being educated doesn't mean you can't be influenced.
Yeah, that's very true.
You know where I'm coming from?
But you can still have a preference.
Yeah, you can still have a preference, but my thing is the texture. It's a very European style texture.
So
it's like if they extended their hair, I'd get it.
So you'd be more okay with people having kind of, like
their natural texture,
or their natural texture.
I just find as if to me,
there aren't many brands that do that kind of.
You know the reason why? Because there aren't many businesses invested in something that's not the norm.
There's one in the UK. There's one in the UK.
They may not necessarily be mainstream, but there are a lot of providers out there. But let's not or shy away from the fact that actually as a black community some of us are not very trusting, and I tell you what, I'm the first to put my hand up. When I was young, no one could just put their hand in my head. It was, mum was like, hey, they will come and take your brain, like you're not allowed. I don't like anyone touching my daughter's hair. It's like I'll do it, it's fine, it's limited. So when a small black enterprise is selling a natural hair care product, people
but it's changing now, though. It's changing now, though. Instagram, you see it. Like
it is changing.
The internet is making a lot of people buy into small brands now because they're realizing they care more for the hair.
And that's why I'm saying that black women have access to a lot of information. They have educated themselves. They are empowered. And that's why the only reason why I said you put yourself in pepper soup is It was the delivery, because you're well within your
My
rights to say
delivery
what
was
you
quite
said.
good, to be honest.
You were just very
Nah,
blunt, and
I wasn't.
It just didn't feel like there was any room
What?
to wiggle.
Nah.
You know?
It's because I'll be honest with you, there probably wasn't a female to give a perspective. It was
Yeah.
me and my guys, so they probably thought, yeah, I get what you're saying, because we talk about it all the time. I feel as if my delivery was good, because I was saying I prefer. I wasn't saying, oh God, I hate it.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with having a preference. I just, because I spoke to my mum about this today, because I said, I'm coming on the show, I'm going to speak about hair, what's your perspective? And what she told me is what I already knew and assumed, which is that it's everybody's choice. It should be your own choice of how you wear your hair.
Yeah.
And I asked her, my mum's had dreads, my mum's had relaxed hair, my mum has had short shaved hair, my mum now has an afro, she's had a kind of Macy Grace Jones kind of thing. My mum has had so many different types of hair, and my mum is also, I would say, very pro-black. So it's never been a thing in my mind, as some people would say that you can't be pro-black and have relaxed hair, or you have to be pro-black and have natural hair. That wasn't really a thing in my mind, because the mum that raised me, who taught me everything I know about black culture and about loving myself and the skin that I'm in and supporting like my brothers and sisters, had relaxed hair at one point that was in like a Mohican. Then she had dreads, so I never saw that as an issue, but I understand why people do, because they might see it as you don't love your own natural beauty, you don't love your hair. But one side of this conversation, which I think isn't spoken about enough, is aside from your hair being a part of your identity and your culture, and, I guess you could maybe take a stand with your hair against like the white man and certain things, beauty standards or whatever, is also, it takes long to do your hair. Now, my hair, for example, I don't know where it kind of sits in the hair bracket. Maybe it's like a 3A or 3B or whatever kind of hair type it is. It's like on the scale of, for example, straight hair.
Curl patterns.
So there's like a scale of like curl patterns, basically. Like 1A, for example, is like straight hair.
Okay.
And then you get up to like 4C, which may be someone like my mum's kind of hair, which is obviously the curls are a lot tighter.
Yeah.
You could say it's kinkier or coarser, whereas mine is a bit looser and in between.
Okay.
So the point I'm making is that my hair, for example, might not be as coarse or as thick as my mum's, but it's still hard for me to manage. Yeah. I don't want to have to do it and have to slick it. I want to be able to just put my hair in a ponytail the same way a white girl can walk into the office. But no, I must use gel. No, I must use this. I must use something to keep it down. Yeah. So I can only imagine where someone like my mum at one point said, oh, you know what? Let me just relax it because I can't be bothered. Now, that is sometimes the thing with beauty. It's you want to do something either because it's quicker, it's easier.
Yeah.
Like a wig is easier.
Yeah.
Me putting on a wig on top of my cane rows or whatever I have underneath is just easier. It might not be that I'm trying to conform to the white man. It might just be that today I don't have time to get up and plait my hair, blow dry it, put twist and lock and every kind of product in it. Today, let me leave my house and just put wig on. Now, that's not something I've had to go through, but I hear my friends say these things, and I've heard elders say these kind of things, that sometimes it's not about representation all the time. It is just what's easier in that moment. My hair might take 20 minutes in the morning. My mum's might take 40.
I feel like he's just come to church. You're like listening to the word right
A1,
now.
I saw. I'm not trying to give you a speech,
F9,
but it's just the other side of the conversation.
Yeah.
Some people don't see it as a big deal. It literally is what is convenient.
Yeah.
I don't really like the excuse, I don't like the term it's hard to manage. I understand people saying it takes longer. There's a longer process, and I get that. Longer doesn't necessarily mean harder. It just means longer. And I guess we then have to look at our lifestyles.
I do believe that my hair was harder to manage.
Just detangling it alone takes an extra hour or two.
And you can put this on there if you want. I think that when people say that natural hair is hard to manage, that's just some bullshit.
I personally think it's a subconscious thing. It's a thing where they've seen their aunties do it, seen their mums do it, their older sisters do it, their older cousins do it, movie stars do it, singers do it. No one questions it. No one thinks, how come everyone's doing that? Why don't I just
But that said, I saw my mum do all the hairstyles in the world, and even locks isn't something that was done in my household. So I saw bits and pieces in parts of Ghana, but actually not in my household. But I'd always loved locks, maybe because I always loved Whoopi Goldberg, but that was always going to be my thing.
Was the girl back in the days.
She's still the woman. All right, auntie. Yeah, not just
Jumping Jack Flash.
Whoopi, Auntie Whoopi, right?
Auntie Whoopi.
Yeah, but I always knew I was going to get locks. I was wearing braids all the time. I loved it. And I was like, I can do this.
I wanted
However,
lots once, but my mum wasn't gonna have it.
yeah,
You want that Rasta?
yeah. Initially, it's like my dad was like, "Are you
Police
sure?"
will arrest you. They think you are smoking weed.
But do you know that fetish priests in Ghana
Yeah, I
have
know.
locks?
I know. You know
So
what it
it's
is? See,
interesting.
that's enough. See, that goes back to what we're talking about. How we've been conditioned
Yeah.
to look at certain things that's ours as, and look at certain things as theirs as, ooh, that's one of them.
All right.
That's one of them. That's another reason. See, even look at the time back in the. I seen pictures of my mum back in the days when the Afro was in. Back in the Black Panther days, I don't know, what's that, 60s, 70s? When they all had afros.
Okay, yeah.
Nearly every single black person on this planet who was influenced by American culture had an afro.
They were even wearing Afro wigs
Yeah.
straight.
Yeah.
Lots of them were
Yeah.
wearing
So
Afro
to me,
wigs.
that just goes to show it's an influential thing. This whole weave, relaxing, edges, whatever you call it, lace front, to all those things are influential, man.
All right, let me take it there then. Right,
Yeah.
what do you think of headscarves? Because I know fellas have a problem with head wraps.
Head wraps.
What, in
Listen,
the daytime or bedtime?
Anytime.
I got no problem with it. My
Me, I
wife
don't
wears
mind
it to
them.
bed, and I listen.
Yeah.
I like a woman as natural as possible. I'm not saying I want hairy
So
armpits and
headscarves
hairy
out,
legs.
yeah,
but
why
it's
not? It's natural. I went into my an old workplace, and my manager at the time, he said to me when I walked in, "Oh," I was like, "What happened?" "Oh, your hair." I was like, "Oh, yeah."
What's wrong with my hair?
So I literally had just got my hair retwisted and had it put up in a style, my locks. I was like, "Yeah, what about it?" He's like, "Ouch." I was like, "What do you mean, ouch?" She was like, "I can see your scalp." I was like, "Said the bald white man. What do you mean you can see my scalp?" I was,
Wow.
okay, and this is an open plan office. So I could have, it could have gone one or two ways. So what I did instead was shut up for a second. And then I approached him at a later stage and said, that was kind of uncalled for. you know?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't mean it like that. It just looked like it hurt. Well, how would you know? Have you ever had plaits? Have you ever had your hair twisted? So just be mindful of things like that. However, when he did flick my hair one time, that I said, don't do that.
Yeah.
But at a later stage, I said to him, look, have you ever been this close
You
to
know
locks
what?
before?
Sorry to cut you. Do you think that could be a reason why a lot of black women tend to use the weaves and that maybe they feel like people from the Caucasian culture feel a bit more comfortable around them? They don't. It's not
Yes,
too. It's not too
definitely.
weird for them to look at.
Yes.
Some
But
people,
to be
yeah.
honest, why should you need to do so? Like, listen,
it's,
they need to get used to it. They need to get
Yeah,
used to it. Like,
but
I'm not.
it's
When I have
unfortunately-
daughters, my daughters are not having no chemicals in their hair. No weaves, no wigs, none of that stuff. I want them to just have their hair as it is. If they want to style it and that, cool. But don't put nothing that's going to make you feel like you need to do it out of insecurity.
No,
or to conform.
I'd allow my child to experiment because I've had the privilege of doing that. However, I will be saying, okay, well, this made mummy's hairline get yam out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I will be sharing that
Yeah,
kind
of
of
course.
information.
Yeah. My mum was the same to me.
Yeah, like you could do that, but these are the potential risks.
The hair IAT study so far has found that the general public holds a harsh bias toward bushy, thick, and kinky curly black hairstyles. Not to mention the growing number of stories where black employees are passed over for promotions and even sometimes fired because of their hairstyle choice.
My hair may not be appropriate for work.
When I was I was a young manager and a senior manager in a children's centre, and everyone in my team was older than me, and I used to relax my hair, and you know that like wedding hairstyle, typical, like you kind of wrap it up in a
top.
coil and put the pins in
Yeah.
it. I used to do that. Looked slightly, I still had the young face, but looked slightly older than my years. And after I left and I went freelance, that's when I shaved my hair off. I dyed it. And people were like, oh, you've really changed. Like, you've transformed. It's like, no, I actually don't have to conform. But nobody told me to do that. I thought that was the only way I would be taken seriously or how I had to look as a manager.
I'm not anti-weave, but ladies, if weaves are taking out all of this on the side and all of this on the side, you might need to let it go.
With my different hairstyles, I've had different types of responses from people.
Exactly.
And that is fact as well. When I had short shaved hair, I had certain men and women. Like, I'd never been approached by women before until I did that to my hair.
Because the short hair, they thought you was a lesbian.
Yeah.
The guys thought that I was up for something wild and, you know, spontaneous. I was like, whoa. Yeah, people who I would never have expected to stop me
It's
in the
because of
streets.
Grace Jones. Grace Jones made that short hair a bit freaky.
People who weren't even speaking English. I was like, bro, have you only got here the other day? What do you mean? Psst, psst. Like, where did you learn that? I was so surprised. And actually, when I started my locks, they were just these little twiglets. That's the only thing. They were twiglets. They weren't laying down. They were sticking out, and that was it. Being called Empress.
Yeah, because naturally, you see, that's the thing. You see, that's what I'm talking about. You see, natural hair, when I see black women with natural hair, I naturally affiliate them with divinity.
That's nice.
I naturally affiliate them with something that's just divine. Do you know what I'm saying? That's just beautiful. You just think, you know
that's
what?
really nice.
Yeah, because you imagine her being confident. To embrace that so confidently and come outside in the public and just rock it is beautiful.
Yeah.
But what if everybody rocked it? Would you think it was confidence, or would you just see it as follow fashion though?
I don't care.
Or trend.
I'll be honest with you. I don't care whether trend maple do it or not. I'll just be happy to see it.
Right. Okay.
I would, because it means less money in that $1 billion, $1 trillion economy that's not coming to the black community. And on top of that, is making the black community more and more insecure, so they put more money into it.
Yeah.
And on top of that as well, it would just mean good influential role models for the younger generation of females coming up. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of these guys as well who think, oh yeah, she ain't got this weave and that. They need to dead that mentality. I'm sick and tired of seeing guys making women feel as if because you ain't got a weave or you ain't got a wig, they don't want to chat to you. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Because there's a lot of guys out there who would chat to you. And I think I would prefer you to...
definitely.
Do you know what I mean? I would prefer them to talk to them than those guys, because guys that are just stupid and ignorant.
I've had some of the nicest guys speak to me when I went natural.
Yeah.
Like, or the... Just a more relaxed approach.
But that also shows something, doesn't it, as well? That when
that
you are natural, that you are now perceived in another way. And I think, someone could think you're woke or something. Maybe, I don't know if it's that extreme, but they might think that you're more understanding of your culture. You're more open to certain things. Yeah, you're more intellectual. You're proud of your heritage. You're proud of your blackness.
I think some men just think, oh, yeah, she's not going to be too long in the mirror. She's not going to take too long. She's going to say...
Maybe. She's going to be quick. But you might not look high maintenance.
Exactly. I think that's it.
It's interesting.
Not up yourself, not high maintenance.
Don't dumb us down, man.
Some of you think that. You think, she's going to be less high maintenance. She's going to be easy going.
Let me
she's going to be able to cook.
No, because also at the same time, there is almost like, when you see this idea of like Kim K and, girls like that with long weave and whatever, and it's like the look and all these girls in Love and Hip Hop, there is this kind of image that you have of some black women that are in the media in shows like Love and Hip Hop and things like that, reality TV and maybe rappers. There's a certain image that you might have, you
associate them
connotations.
with,
there's what they might be like, how they might speak. If Love and Hip Hop was filled with women that all had afros or all had certain twists up and things like that.
Look at that one.
No, but they might be seen differently.
Black Latino one that was on the show a few years ago.
Amira,
you see how she calls
Amira Negra. Yeah.
I knew she would look a certain way.
So where are the women that look like myself?
The afro thing's cool. Maybe we could do, what I'm saying, like a video here and there, certain look, but maybe try something different looks.
One of my ex-girlfriends, she used to always wear weaves and wigs. And one day I just dropped some game on her and I made her realize, listen, get rid of that stuff because you're this, you're that, you're Empress, you're beautiful, da-da-da-da-da-da. She gained the confidence, went natural, and she was proud of herself. She even used to put extensions in, like what you're saying before, but it was the natural texture. And people used to, like, every time we would go up, we used to stare at her because they would like, wow, like, people say, your hair's so nice, da-da-da. And her mum said to her, that boy wants you to be ugly so he can keep you to himself. Her mum poisoned her. She went back to being weave and wigs and stuff like that. And then that's when I realized that, it's a generational thing as well.
Of course, yeah.
Go natural, guys, please. That's all I ask for. I love you. You're my beautiful black women, but I feel as if something is stopping you from embracing your full potential of beauty. And I would like to see the day before I die that every black woman I walk down the street and see has got their natural hair and does not care what anybody outside the black community thinks. At the end of the day, it's us that matters. It doesn't matter what other people think. That's it.
Can I ask you to add one final word? Or
please.
Nine. What advice would you give to the guys out there on natural hair? What have you learned today that you would like to share with the fellas?
Encourage your women to go natural, guys. Let them know they're beautiful. Let them know they're beautiful. Let your woman know she's beautiful with her natural hair.
What do you want us to do?
Yeah.
What do you want? What I want? Like,
because me, I might have weave tomorrow. So what do you want us to do?
Listen, I can't tell you. I'm just telling you what I would prefer. I can't tell you what to do. But I'm just saying, those of you, if your lady will listen to you and you are that influential in her life, because at the end of the day, as men, we are meant to try and do our best to encourage our women to go as high up and as far as they can. We can't hold our women down. Encourage a woman to embrace her natural hair. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Encourage her to embrace what God gave her, because it's a crown. I'm telling you, you'd be surprised. Listen, I heard a scientist say that our hair is our connection to the energy in the atmosphere. Apparently, there's an energy in the atmosphere, and there's a scientist called Tesla who knew how to draw that electricity from the atmosphere, so we didn't have to pay for electricity, and they killed him because, we'll have free electricity. But apparently, our hair connects to it. That's why, for instance, if you see when people get electrocuted, their hair stands up. Listen, it's a crown, you don't know how beautiful that thing is. You don't know it's scientific, That thing has got power in it, and you're hiding it under some dead hair with no roots. Listen, that's just me anyway. Love you all. Goodbye.